In January this year, the right to wild camp in England and Wales was lost when a wealthy landowner successfully brought a claim against Dartmoor National Park. This was the last place that wild camping was technically legal without seeking the owner's permission. You might remember I did a number of videos on this in my very early days on this channel about what is wild camping, roaming, the right to roam, the right to forage, and so on. Ordinarily speaking, you need the landowner's permission to camp on that area. But then I went on to discuss certain areas, such as the Dartmoor National Park, where you could wild camp, at least until this case was brought to court and a court ruled in his favour in January, and this right was lost. However, as in many cases, that's not quite the end of the matter, because permission has been granted to appeal this decision on the basis that the original judgment was based on a very narrow interpretation of what is open-air recreation. Again, something that I've talked about in earlier videos, because open-air recreation could be anything from walking, jogging. There are certain things that it does include and doesn't include. And also, lawyers argue that it failed to take into account the historic understanding of the law and the understanding of thousands of people and of the park itself as to what it means to camp and leave no trace. The appeal court judge, Lady Justice Asplin, has ruled that there are reasons that cross the threshold for an appeal, and that it was conceivable that the previous judge presiding over the case has misconstrued the meaning of open-air recreation, which could include wild camping. The Dartmoor Preservation Association is fundraising an appeal, so if this is a subject matter close to your heart that you'd like to support, I will put the link in the description below and you can go and support that. In the words of Tom Usher, CEO to the DPA, he says it's a travesty that at a time when the National Park is operating at a 48% real-term budget cut over the last 12 years, that we should also be facing the loss of access rights at a time when the benefits of nature connectedness have never been more vital. We're supporting the Dartmoor National Park appeal to this decision, and we ask the public to donate what they can to the fund. Now, I, for one, am fully in support of wild camping and connectedness with nature, as was very nicely put by Tom Usher, the CEO of the DPA. So if you would like to support the ongoing rights to wild camp in Dartmoor, and potentially this could be your chance to affect the law as it stands for many other parts of the country. Because open-air recreation, as the narrow interpretation argument suggests, should really, in my view, and probably in most people's objective view, include wild camping. Maybe you'll let me know what you think in the comments below, because wild camping is something that you can do as open-air recreation by any ordinary description and meaning of the term. So if that's the case, then this appeal might well have some legs, as suggested by Lady Justice Asplin. And once more, you might remember I did many videos early on in my channel about this very subject, the right to roam and the right to forage, what you can and can't do without seeking the landowner's permission. And many arguments such as this revolve around the use of drones or bikes and campfires and all sorts of other things. So if camping and outdoor activities is something that you really want to support, again, I'll put the link to this fundraiser in the description below. Go and check that out. I, for one, would be in support of this appeal because I firmly believe, particularly when the park itself believes and supports the wild camping and connectedness with nature. For me, I think we're just losing too much of that around this country, particularly when green belts are being eroded and you see housing estates popping up on little bit of green that we've got left surrounding local towns and cities. Camping, wild camping, is certainly something that I would like to see maintained as we go forward. So as I say, please support that link in the description below with whatever you can. And of course, I'll come back and update as and when this appeal progresses. At the moment, we are waiting, or they are waiting, on a court date for the appeal to be heard. Just if you're wondering how that works, when there is a judgment, almost always you need permission before you can appeal. Permission is not an automatic thing unless in very narrow circumstances, such as you're convicted in the magistrate's court and then you've got an automatic right of appeal to the Crown Court. But in most judgments, you need permission to appeal. And so in this case, there is light at the end of the tunnel because National Park has been granted permission to appeal this decision, which at the moment bans wild camping in Dartmoor. So I hope you found that interesting. Feel free to go and support that link in the description below. And please make sure you like this video and subscribe and help me support my channel here to grow to help you understand law. And as always, I thank you for watching.